You're
Hey,
sideways.
am I sideways?
Yeah, you flip your phone.
Well, let me see if I can flip this around. Am I upside down
Now
now?
you're upside down. There we go.
All right, cool.
Woohoo!
I'll just hold on to this then.
I know. Sometimes it's kind of crazy, right? It's like, what is
Yeah.
happening with these things? Awesome. Hi, it's nice to see your
Hi.
face again.
Yeah, you too. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The last time I saw you was our very first I guess intake where we talked to each other about what we were doing and what was going on. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a background. So you and I actually know each other from way, 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 way back when.
Like 2 decades ago.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So I was trying to think of this before we got on here. It's like, do you remember how how we connected, how you and I knew each other?
Well, I was in a band called Delusia at
Yeah.
that time, and I think we were trying to put together some photos maybe for like album artwork or possibly like show flyers. And
Yes.
there was a good friend of mine, Christine Rizzo,
Yeah.
was
Okay.
yeah,
This was my memory too. I was like, I think it's that day with Christy, but I
yeah,
couldn't recall.
yeah. And she, I asked her if she wanted to do some photo shoot stuff, and she was like, yeah, and like she's like, I got this other friend, and to bring along or whatever, and it was you, so that's kind of how we met. That
That's
was,
right. That's right. But for some
so
reason, I felt like I had known who you were before then. I don't know. I guess not. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
I think that was 2005 or 2006. So it has definitely been a while.
Yeah.
Been a hot minute, but it's cool. It's cool. So to streamline this a little bit today, I have some questions on my handy dandy little piece of paper that I'm
Okay.
going to be asking you because we don't have a ton of time to be
Okay.
doing this today. There you go. Cool. You're
I'm kind of sideways, right? Like,
It's all good. It's all good.
but
Let's
it's
do it.
art, right? We're doing like art
It's art. Yeah, it's art,
stuff.
right? I'll be sideways too.
Okay.
All right. So I want to talk to you first off about your song Transmute. Can you just tell us about it? Anything you want to tell us about it?
Um, well, the song Transmute is um, it's about changing your perspective, right? It's about changing your thinking.
Hmm.
It's taking a negative and turning it into a positive, or looking for the positive in something that you may have felt negative about it sometimes. So you're transmuting something. You're taking something of lesser value, so to speak, and you're making it worth more, kind of. So, for example, like, I've gone through a lot of painful experiences, a lot of trauma in my life, as have many people. And,
Hmm.
you know, transmute that is to look for lessons within that. Like, look for the lessons within the hurtful experiences and utilize those lessons as kind of like stepping stones or something to grow from as opposed to being hindered by. So that's kind of sort of what it's about. It's an empowering song. Um, so that's kind of the gist of it. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. It's funny because when you think like hard rock song and you listen to hard rock songs, usually like you immediately most people's minds go to like, oh, dark, some sort of like dark message. But this song is
yeah,
actually very, very positive. I mean, it's got a really uplifting message to it. Like, take the better part of life, leave the past, all the bad stuff behind.
right,
Make lemonade out of lemons, kind of a thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, and I think that I was able to kind of, with the help of my good friend Kane Churko, who produced it. He did an amazing job.
Yeah.
But with his help, we were able to kind of still capture like the darkness, but in a way that is uplifting, right?
Yes.
So it's because
Yeah.
it's still rocking. It's
Yeah.
still, it's kind of ominous, but it's positive. So it's pretty cool.
Exactly. I really have a personal love for things that when you like you take two things that look like they shouldn't go together and then you put them together and it
Yeah.
works. Oh, I
Hmm.
just love it. Like a ballet to like a gangster rap song or something. It's kind of like what you did with this, really, really positive, uplifting message with this like really heavy, dark, undertone. And then even with like your music video, which was awesome, those visuals were great. I mean, they were beautiful, but in a dark way. So that was really
Yeah.
cool that you kind of did those two things. Um, so what does this song mean to you personally? And what do you hope that your fans or listeners or anyone that hears it takes away from it?
Um, well, yeah, personally, it's kind of like what I was saying. For me, it's just a lesson that I learned
Yeah.
about changing your perspective on things and learning to heal, utilizing um, transmutation, sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like it's a very powerful technique. And I feel like this is an anthem, almost an anthem
Mm,
um, of change, and it's an anthem for different esoteric philosophies. It's very the idea is very hermetic
hmm.
in nature. There's that saying, "As above, so below," but the other part of that is, "As within, so without." Right. So if you change your thinking, you can change your mindset, but really change it. Really have to believe. Then your external world will start reflecting those changes. So, as within, so without. So that's kind of what I want to give to people and give them
Wow.
something to think about. Turn your pain into something powerful and good.
I like that word anthem that you used, almost like a mantra or something for people to kind of take with them.
Yeah.
And I can tell just by talking to you now and even talking to you before, like you put so much thought into this. This wasn't just like you sitting down and writing a song. Like this is personal
No.
to you. This is
Yeah.
definitely like you would not that that always happens, but you know what I mean? Sometimes people can just do that real quickly, but this is obviously very personal and it came across in your music too. When I listened to it, we all listened to it, it was like, wow, this is some good stuff.
Thanks.
So, yeah, yeah, we loved it. With the band Immerser, you are actually the solo artist.
Right.
And I didn't know that until our first conversation with you. And that always really, I mean, impresses me because I'm like, wait, what? What does that mean? So why don't you tell everybody what a solo artist is?
Well, a solo artist is someone that pretty much writes all of their music and performs it. Um, I've been doing music since I was like 8 years old, right? And so every band I've ever been in, I've always kind of been the main songwriter.
Hmm.
Um, I can play guitar, bass, drums, piano. I sing, like I can, whatever. So I'm able to create whole songs by myself. And what happened was I was in a band, like I mentioned before, called Delusia for many years. And when I ended up moving from California, got my California bear on.
Nice.
Moving from yeah,
Representing.
I'm just a light in the world.
I love that.
Um, Moving from California to Colorado about 3 years ago, and so I left the band kind of behind and wanted to start something new. Right, just a whole new life, whole new experience, whole new fresh start. And a part of that process was looking for a band. And I had all these songs I had written and all of this stuff, and I was thinking to myself, I've always kind of done things with a band. Like, I think I'm just going to do this on my own because I'm perfectly capable of doing it on my own. It makes it a little difficult to play live, though,
Yeah.
but I'm working on that. But you know, so that's kind of how it started with Immerser, and I really liked the name too because it's an immersive experience, and I immerse myself in everything I do. So I thought it was fitting, and yeah, so that's kind of how it happens. And I'll just write all the music, play the guitar, everything, and kind of get a song down, and then I went to Las Vegas to the Hideout Studios and worked with Kane Churko, who's worked with some of my favorite bands. Like he's worked with In This Moment and Gemini Syndrome and like Five Finger Death Punch and Ozzy, and like so it was
Yeah.
like for me it was like a dream come true, right?
Oh,
To
for
have that
sure.
experience, and I really wanted to, you know, take advantage of that opportunity as much as possible and just put my best foot forward and really focus because you don't get that kind of opportunity every day. At
Hmm.
least I don't.
Yeah.
so that's kind of how this thing ended up, you know. And there's other songs too that I've done, and I recorded like all of the Immerser songs except for this one on a little digital 8-track in my closet in Aurora,
Nice.
Colorado. So if they don't sound that epic, that's why. But this one sounds the way it should sound because I actually went to, a professional to have it, produced. So
It's funny if I went on and listened to all of your Immerser songs and just all of your music. Um, if you hadn't, I wouldn't even notice the difference really. But now I'm going to go back and see if I can hear a difference.
oh, you'll hear a difference.
But you gotta go. I mean, it sounded great. Like I wasn't like, oh, the quality of this one compared to this. I mean, they're all really good.
Thank
I've
you.
got my Immerser shirt on right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like cuts you off. So I'm like, oh, you can't see my shirt, but um, that's really cool. I'm always really impressed with people that can play more than play any instrument because I can't do that at all. I can dance and I can count.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone's like, oh yeah, I do the drums, I do the bass, I do the guitar, I sing. I'm like, what? Like, that's insane talent. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Well, I can't dance at all, so I'm.
So this will work, right?
Yeah, it's a
this is a
good
good
mix
friendship
here.
we got
Yeah,
going on.
right.
I did have one of someone watching ask real quick segue, why did you move to Colorado?
Oh God, so many reasons. One of them was financial. Obviously, I'm a native of California. I grew up like 45 minutes Redwood City. So if
Yeah.
there's any Redwood City people out there,
Well, you and me.
yeah. But I grew up near the beach, kind of, and I love California. But it just became so. My existence there was just miserable. Like I couldn't afford anything. I had no money left over at the end of the day. I was working just like a dog all the time and had nothing to show for it. And, I just wasn't happy at all. And I was felt like a stranger in my own community. Like it was people were moving there. They were just they're not Californians. They don't, and Californians get a bad rap, because people think we're like these stuck up, like, but really like the true Californians are like the coolest, down to earth, most awesome, open people you'll ever meet. It's all the jerks that are moving into California that suck, that ruin it for everybody.
All the cool people are moving out.
Right. So anyway, yeah. So it was just a cost of living thing and just some other personal stuff.
Yeah.
And my best friend lived in Colorado, and I had visited here multiple times, and he was like, "Dude, just move here. You can live in my, you can rent from me or live in my basement or whatever till you get on your feet." And I just packed up my Honda Accord with everything I could, put the rest of my stuff in storage, and my cat went to my aunt's house for a little cat adventure for a while until I got on my feet and came here and just hit the ground running and got a great job, and it just all worked out. And it was like the moment I left California, I think it happened in when I got to like Utah. And I was at this rest area, like completely by myself with nobody around, no responsibilities, no job, no nothing. I had like nothing. It was cathartic kind of. It was like a weight had just like lifted off me.
Wow.
And, but I made the best of it. And there's been a couple times in my life that I've had to kind of start over or, not by choice.
Yeah.
Due to some struggles I had in the past, but this was by choice, and it's cool to realize that once you've done that, you can do it over and over again because you learn to rely on yourself.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in.
That's cool.
Long story. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good. That's what I feel like a lot of people leave in California for so many of the same reasons of that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. It helps us kind of get to know you a little bit better.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to kind of condense a couple of these questions, but why did you want a dance film specifically created for Transmute? And was there anything you envisioned initially with the dance film?
Well, the whole dancing thing, we discussed, I can't dance. And, it's just a burning desire I had. No, I don't. I remember I was on like Instagram or something, and then the Sanctuary Media Production stuff popped up, and I was like, dude, like that's Martha. Like,
Like, I know that person.
Yeah, and like so I was I followed or whatever, and I just kind of watched some of your stuff, and then it just kind of hit me, and I was like, this would be really cool. Like, it would be a really interesting collaboration. I just didn't think. For me, it's like I'm open to whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be creative, and like I feel like there's too many um, sort of limitations people put on themselves within genres and with art. And it's like, dude, like art is art. Like there's
Yeah.
no wrong way to do art, And like for me, um, I always like to see, I visualize stuff in my head when I hear music.
Yes.
It's like, so I kind of I'm always curious how other people like visualize using their third eye, like in their
Yeah.
mind, like what they see or how they feel about things with
Hmm.
music. And and I just thought it would be a really cool opportunity to maybe uh make some or reach some people that I wouldn't normally reach with my music. And I figured it would be a good way for you guys to reach some people you wouldn't normally reach, and hopefully people see the value of this, that like rock music is totally like dance music. Like it's,
Oh yeah.
dude, it's badass.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
come on. Like, so that's kind of how it happened, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I like that you said how like the third eye, like art is so subjective,
Yeah.
and it's like you and I could be looking at the same picture and you see daytime, I see nighttime. So
Right.
it's very much like with this, you probably had some sort of vision in your mind with your song, but no matter what, you give it to us and we saw, you had no clue what we were going to see, which
Right.
kind of leads me into my next question. So AJ was the creative director for this, which means
Right.
she was the one that dictated it all, which is just like even with a movie, there's always a director. Everyone listens to what the director says and does just to streamline the way things are made. Because there's too many cooks in the kitchen, it's just not going to work.
Right.
Um, unless that's established ahead of time. Like we've got two people who are directing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So was it difficult for you not sitting in the directive role with this dance film that we created?
No, not at all. Like, I mean, no, because my ego is kind of completely removed from it at that point. Kind of completely removed from it at that point.
Hmm.
Like I kind of have to make that choice before
Hmm.
I decide to kind of do things like this, right? Because what's the point then? Like, why wouldn't I just do it myself? Because
Exactly.
the whole point is to get a different perspective, to get something that wouldn't normally happen to happen for me. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what this whole song is about too, is doing something different, like changing your thinking, a different approach,
Yeah.
transmuting a situation. And so no, I think it was great, and I think that kind of the song in itself has it's got a life of its own, it's its own entity, sort of, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna already encapsulate like some of the energies that I manifested into it anyway. So
Yes.
whenever you hear it or whatever, when you experience that piece of music, it's already going to trigger certain things. So I'm pretty confident that like I already kind of knew how things would turn out. So, but I mean, it's awesome. Like you guys did a great job. It's like really
Yeah.
cool. So it
Yeah. I
gets
know.
better and better too. The more I watch it, I'm like, yeah,
It's like, oh, I didn't see that before.
super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally, I mean, it'll be interesting to hear what AJ says. I've got questions for her about being the creative director and like what she envisioned and what she heard. Because she and I had conversations about, she just bounced stuff off of me, like, how are we going to go with this? What are, I'm thinking
Right.
of
Yep.
this. And I just kind of like, cool, you're in the leader seat. I will follow. Um, so I guess to kind of wrap up with you, the last thing, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I want to know, did you enjoy working with Sanctuary?
It
Did you
was terrible. It was a horrible,
don't
horrible. No. It was great. Like it was awesome. You guys made it so easy, like so totally cool. Very professional. I'm like very like neurotic about like things being organized, and you know so you guys are kind of seem to be that way too, because it's like the moment I approached you, you guys already had like a list of like all this stuff, and I was like, great, this is going to be awesome. I can tell that these characters are really serious about what they do, you know. And
Yeah.
to me, it was a wonderful experience. I had a great time doing it. You guys are super open to things too, and like, you know, I didn't have really any criticism, um, and it was wonderful. And I encourage like any other artists or musicians, you know, even rock musicians or metal
Yeah.
people, like to approach Sanctuary Media Productions and to maybe do your own kind of project. And it's pretty cool. Maybe we can start something new here, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And that's,
So,
personally, this genre of music is my favorite. Like when I'm having a bad day, like I go straight to like 90s rock,
oh yeah,
early 2000s rock, and it just makes me happy. So
yeah.
for me, this was like, oh, I'm so stoked to be doing something to this kind of music. So I loved it. I guess my last question is, if you ever collaborated with us again, would you do anything differently?
Um, I think I'm really inspired to paint my nails red and black from the
Yes.
video. I was actually thinking about doing that before this.
And you're like, oh, hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, like that's pretty cool. Like, so I'll probably do that next time. But other than that, like you guys, I mean, not really. Like I think,
Cool.
you know, it's a spur of the moment kind of thing, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
what
I
happens
was just
happens.
wondering if it was like you'd want more of like a creative directive role. If you know what I mean? If next
I
time you're like,
mean,
well, this
at
time I want,
some
yeah,
yeah, like I mean, at some point that would be kind of cool just to try, like to see what
yeah,
I could do, like if I was like in the director's seat, you know.
yeah, for
But
sure. That's even what
yeah,
we're doing here. We're having fun figuring out how each of us can take on these different roles and execute them properly
right,
and effectively.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was so
Well,
good.
yeah, and I want to thank you so much, Martha, for all your hard work and stuff. It really shows in the video. You
Thank
guys
AJ too.
really, yeah,
AJ
no,
was,
I'm
oof.
on it. You know, I really been blown away by how much effort you guys put into it. And AJ is like amazing, such a sweet person, totally like funny, like really funny too. Like I
Oh,
think we have very similar dark humor. So, but yeah, no, you guys both are a great team. You balance each other out very well, and yeah, I appreciate all that you do. And yeah, think of me, you know, some other time if you want to do another project. I'm totally down.
oh, for
And
sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, John,
Mhm.
and for talking to us about your band, Immerser. Again, here's my shirt. Go listen to Immerser's music. Go listen to Transmute. It was fantastic. Thank you so much, John. So I will sign off with you and chat with AJ about it.
All right.
See
See you
you
later.
later. All right. So hopefully, AJ is going to join at some point. We can talk to her about all this wonderful, fun dance stuff. This is so cool. I feel like I could have talked to John for like 900 years about that. Um, let's see, she just requested, view request, push the little button, and hopefully she will magically pop up. Do, 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 do. No? Not happening? Technical difficulties? It's not alive if there aren't technical difficulties. Hi, Alex! I don't know what happened. I pushed the little button and it didn't work. Maybe try again, AJ. I see lots of people talking to me. Hello, hello. Well, anyway, I'll do more promotion for the band Immerser. You need to go listen to all of his music. You can go on YouTube. You can go on his Instagram page. You can go on our Instagram page. We've got his stuff there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm just gonna do a little song and dance while I wait for AJ. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where she went. Maybe the world is now transmuting and breaking down. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, it says AJ Via is unable to join. Let's try that again. Try again, AJ. Well, Immerser and AJ. Let's see what's happening. Immerser wanted to come back in? Oh, what's going on? Sorry, everybody. We're trying to figure this out. Hey, you're
Hey,
here.
I figured, you know, like I just jump back in to
Oh my
save the
gosh,
day.
we have
Okay.
three people. What
All right.
happened?
All
How
right.
did this
Well,
happen?
I'm jumping off now because I
What?
just didn't want you to. be
I
lonely
don't
while you.
want you to. This is magical.
This is what we've always wanted, is to be able to have multiple screens. This is crazy that this is happening right now.
We just transmuted the situation.
No, we literally did. We legitimately did, because this is what we've wanted, like, for, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Alex is freaking out. She's gonna be freaking out, dude.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Later.
Thank you for
It's all
transmuting this
good.
whole thing.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.